Hello and welcome to Swim or Sink 26, the weekly tournament hosted here by Inkling Performance Labs. I am Crit. I'm here with Riley. How are you doing today, Riley?
I'm doing fine. It's great to be here commentating with you on this Wednesday evening. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of great matches to come in this 26th installment of Swimmer Sync.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as per usual, Swimmer Sync known for throwing some really fantastic Splatoon action at you on a weekly basis. And for our first match, we're going to have some pretty interesting teams here. We're going to have Paint is Paint versus Anarchy. And Anarchy being a team that I don't know a whole lot about, but Paint for Paint, I certainly recognize some of the names on there as really prominent members of the tournament organization and commentary community. We have Rissa and K-Bot both playing on Paint is Paint, which I think will be really fun to watch.
Absolutely. Uh, I'm more familiar with K-Bot as more of a commentator and TO rather than a player, but I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Plus, Rissa, Krim, and Joke are just very skilled players in this kind of high-level scene. And I'm noticing there are some members on Anarchy that I recognize, namely Flash, formerly of Eternal, as well as Unlighted, and Eris, who used to be on Crack, Pure Divinity, and a handful of other teams. I'm mainly just kind of interested to see how these two teams kind of mesh together and, you know, how good the matches will be. It's kind of hard to describe, but yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're right. Kbot is someone that I certainly don't really know very well as a player, but rather as a TO and commentator. So I'm interested to see what Kbot's going to play. We know obviously Rissa is a fantastic K52, and I know plays some junior as well, I believe. For the members on Anarchy that you do recognize, do you happen to know what positions or weapons they play?
I remember Eris watching him play in the SAC All Star game, in which he was very dominant on T-Tech and K-Shot, but I believe he has shifted gears to Zap. Meanwhile, I don't know about Liquid or Tiatak. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I know that Flash is one of those players where basically any front and midline weapon, they will play it. Just whatever works for their comp.
Oh,
But either way,
fantastic.
yeah.
So then
So
we know that we have two very very talented frontline players, one on each team at least, which means we're definitely going to have an exciting couple of games here, and we are going to be starting on a tower control on the Reef, which is I think a really interesting map, especially when we have two teams that we know both have really fantastic frontliners, because this is definitely the kind of map where a good backliner can make a world of difference with controlling that bridge.
absolutely, the bridge is the main focal point of this map, and if you want to have control, you got to go for that bridge. But either way, coming out, we're seeing the comps right now. I do notice the double splatling on the side of Anarchy here, with the Custom Hydra and the Nautilus 47, as well as the Vanilla Slosher and Blobloster Deco on the side of Paint is Paint over here, as well as Rissa, indeed, on the 52. We see they're all making a... Oh, there was a DC on the side of Anarchy.
Oh,
The Hydra.
yep, right
So
away.
I guess this is as good a time as any for a drip pick.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be getting a replay on this. Obviously, first game, DC within the first few seconds. So we will see how this game actually plays out. But in the meantime, I think we have some really interesting comps here coming out. Obviously, we have a Booyah Bomb, one from each team, which is really valuable here. You get the classic armor coming out on both teams. Interestingly enough, I can't remember. Is that the Custom Hydra has the ink armor, so that gives them double armor there on the side of Anarchy, isn't that right?
Definitely. Although I will say, I've used this analogy before a few times, but while NZAP and Custom Hydra is double armor, Custom Hydra is more of like half of an armor weapon because its main focus is to be a backline that can occasionally provide armor, but that's not really. You wouldn't
Right.
run it just to give armor the same way that you would with a junior or Zap.
Yeah,
But
definitely not that armor spam sort of weapon.
but it does still they do still have double armor going for them in a sense. Meanwhile, the K52 and Nautilus, decent paint, decent aggression. I don't really know about the speed factor, but other than that, it's basically just very solid all around comp.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of paint on that comp, which we could see come quite in handy on something like tower control, where having that sort of paint control ahead of your team can be really valuable. I'm also really interested to see that we have the blob lobber deco that came out on the side of Paint is Paint. That's a weapon that you don't see a whole lot, although we have actually been seeing it kind of picking up in usage, and definitely a weapon that I think is criminally underrated. And maybe, not a weapon that I would think of for tower control, but with that suction bomb rush, maybe it could end up being really useful. But again, just a weapon that is so good for controlling space.
Absolutely. In addition to the suction bomb launcher, which will just apply a ton of pressure as well as paint. But in addition to that, I'm just kind of looking forward to see how these players make their respective comps work in this map mode here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we said again, we see on both sides just a ton of paint coming out. So I think we see kind of fairly similar strategies. It's hard to say because we haven't seen the teams play it, but as far as like the comps, assuming we're going to be coming out with the same comps going back into game one, we see both teams having kind of a similar comp strategy of having that really fantastic paint control. Obviously, Anarchy focusing much more on that backline pressure, especially with the Hydra, which can just have very suppressive fire and help to kind of keep your opponents just away from the objective, as opposed to Paint is Paint bringing out, I believe, the Blob Lobber being their longest range weapon. And even though it has range, it's not necessarily a weapon that thrives in that very long range. It's really more of a weapon that thrives in the midline. So I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of the dichotomy between the similar styles of paint focused comps, but with just a difference in mid range focus versus the more long range focus.
Absolutely. In terms of having no real backline and dealing with comps that do have a backline, we might have to see some flank action coming from the side of Paint is Paint, and K52 is a weapon that is definitely capable of doing that. And
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. So it looks like these teams are taking a moment to try and get reconnected. I'm not sure if there's a little issue with connectivity, but in the meantime, while we wait for that, it's always good to mention that Inkling Performance Labs always does have, well, especially now has staff applications open. Always looking for additions to production and commentary teams. So if you're watching these streams and thinking how awesome it would be to commentate on these matches or to be a part of the community in that way, the TO community, you can find that at iplabs.inc/help us.
Absolutely. Always looking for help.
And now going right back into tower control. Yeah, this could be you. Same comps coming out, obviously, because of the DC. So let's see how this one plays out. We do see right away both of those end zaps kind of going off to the side and starting to just get a lot of paint control and really start to push that first armor. And we do see Rissa coming over here and kind of fighting for bridge, which I think is a crucial position to hold.
Definitely. But we do see two on the side of Paint is Paint go down. But that's also three down on the side of Paint is Paint. So it looks like Eric here is just going to be, both Eric and Flash will be kind of controlling power as Eric goes to kill with the Blob Lobber here in the sneaky. So it's going to be a trade, but we do see that most mid control seems to be in the favor of Anarchy, but Paint is Paint making a solid effort to try and contest that. We see the Flusher here gets a kill on the bridge, but sadly is brought down by what I believe was the 52 there. We do see K-Bot with the armor kind of trying to defend, sadly brought down by the Booyah Bomb here, as Liquid's trying to push up and get the kill on the blob in this kind of secluded area. They are able to get the kill off, kind of trying to put pressure on the Flasher. Sadly killed by the Flash Wall. Wow.
Yeah, that is always unfortunate to see. However, I do want to say I am impressed with just how large of a lead that Anarchy was able to make with that little kind of head start they got at the start of the game, bringing Paint is Paint 3 down and then being able to push all the way down to 37 points is a very good start. I mean, we still have 3.5 minutes left in this game, so it's not over by any means, and we certainly see Paint is Paint coming into control of mid. We see a lot of yellow paint here, But again, Anarchy in a good position to kind of play defensive, which they can definitely do with those long range weapons, and try to hold this lead. But they are pushing forward. Just as I was saying that, Anarchy coming in and taking control of mid again.
Yeah, I feel like Paint is Paint might be getting a little too careless in terms of dying, because we just saw one go down, and as soon as you said that there were 3 in mid, like, they had to control mid, they went 3 down here. You see his Claw Sticker is kind of behind the tower, and that's going to be a full wipe on the side of Anarchy. So now, it's definitely been kind of a back and forth in terms of who has control of mid. You see as Paint is Paint has already come back into having control of mid. The Bloblobber is just kind of trying to put pressure on the step area, with K-Bot trying to get some armor. Sadly, Rissa is going to go down, but we do see the Blob trying to put on any sort of, like, hold Paint in mid as best they can, trying to use the Bomb Rush to pressure this person second up only. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just think that was a great moment to use that Bomb Rush there to help to kind of prevent Anarchy from being able to get back to mid fast enough that their team was able to kind of start off this push. Also, they do have that armor on deck. K-Bot has that armor on deck on the side of Paint is Paint, but we do see the Booyah Bomb also looking like it's probably about to come out from Anarchy.
Definitely. We did see Anarchy come through with the armor as well. And Nawal was trying to put on some pressure, but sadly he's brought down by Rissa, who's just kind of sharking around, looking for any stragglers, trying to get some sort of flank off on them. Kind of sticking around, looking for any picks they can, because it seems that in terms of KA here, the Slosher is really the one doing the heavy lifting in terms of the KA on Painted Paint. But things like this game, there's less than 90 seconds left, but there's definitely time for things to change. 21 is a good lead, but it's not insurmountable by any means.
Certainly. Something that I think we're seeing from Anarchy that's been very impressive is even, they'll be getting into these team fights and they're doing a great job of winning them, but even when they're losing a team fight, they're able to come back from it so fast. Earlier we saw that full team wipe on Anarchy, and they were able to get back and retake control of mid before Paint is Paint was able to clear the second checkpoint there, which is really crucial.
Definitely. We do see Krim kind of sharking here as 3 come on the bridge. This is a good position for him to be in, kind of, in the sense that there's kills you can get there, such as the kill on that end tap there, as they were kind of stuck in the corner. Less than 30 seconds now. They're currently 1 down. Anarchy's coming through with the Inkjet. That's 2 down as the end tap's respawning. Nobody seems to be on tower yet, but they're making an attempt as Eris here goes to the left alley. I don't know if anyone from Painted Paint notices that he's there, but we'll have to hope that they see soon enough, because Eris going through with this flank and getting a kill on K-Bot here could be kind of a death sentence, in a sense. But we do see they do have the G2 Booyah. Are they able to remain on tower? Kind of. No. They can get the kill on this. And sadly, Liquid able to stay alive with 2 people on him. And that's going to be game 1 in favor of Anarchy here.
It certainly is. I have to say that was a fantastic game on the side of Anarchy especially, but both teams really played pretty well. At the end there, when we saw the end zap that was ready to pop the ink armor on the side of Anarchy to help them get that tower back go down in overtime, that was a fantastic opportunity for Paint is Paint and a fantastic pick. And I really thought there was a good chance that they would take back that lead just from getting that crucial pick there. But again, between that Booyah Bomb and then just keeping the pressure on, Anarchy was able to take that tower back in a really fantastic game 1 to them. So for game 2, we're going to be going into Rainmaker on Anchovy Games. And we will see if there's any sort of adjustment, either comp-wise or just the way that, or just gameplay-wise from Paint is Paint. What sort of adjustment do you think you'd like to see from Paint is Paint to contest with Anarchy here?
I can't really think of anything that I personally would like to see. It's just a matter of what they're comfortable with. But personally, I could see them, like, both of the same comps from that game, I could imagine working quite well here. Because
I can certainly see that. The Blob Lobber is a great pick, I think, on Anchovy, where you have that kind of raised plateau, which can be a great place to just kind of pick off your opponents and take control of the map. Of course, with Rainmaker, you do need a little bit of mobility, so I'm interested to see how that comes into play here. But we do have a very similar comp coming out on the side of Paint is Paint, and a pretty similar comp coming. Oh, actually, the same exact comp coming out on the side of Anarchy. It looks like Paint is Paint is just changing their NZAP to a junior, and is that? I think it is. Rissa still on the K52, and then just changing K-Bot to the junior there.
Indeed. Notably, though, another change is that Pain is Pain there, if that's what their IGN was, has gone to the Vanilla Blob instead of the Blob Deco, which I didn't catch if they were running Object Shredder, but Object Shredder Rain could be a nice thing to have here. We do see as Eris kind of went for a kill on One Arcade, but that was brought down by two of the members of Paint is Paint, kind of waiting for that reset, seeing if they can capitalize on this lead. The Nautilus has gone down on the side of Anarchy, so if they're able to get another pick here, they could definitely make some moves as Trim's kind of putting some pressure into this arcade area. He knows that the K52 is somewhere in the street, so... And they do have that buoy already, but they will be brought down. So that's 2 down. They could definitely make a push here as the NZAP kind of stuck on this flat here. They did get the armor off, but it's unclear if that will be enough to kind of stop them here.
Oh my gosh, and with 3 down, I mean, Paint is Paint just getting that massive push. Really good way to start the game. Still almost 4 minutes left in this game, though. That was interesting. We saw a member of Anarchy jump off to try to reset the Rainmaker, and it did not get reset. It stayed right there.
Exactly, the mid-air kill, but now it will actually get reset. It seems that Anarchy might have a little bit of trouble trying to get out of spawn, as this Inkjet is going to get cancelled by Crim here. They do get the rain going. They don't have any other specials online, but I'm sure they will soon. As Rissa is able to get a kill on K-Gal, very nice. And just kind of putting some more pressure in the street here, as this Hydra is kind of stuck right now. And indeed, they will be going down. Once again, the K-Gal is respawning kind of 2 left alive on the side of Anarchy, as they get the armor off, but will be brought down by the K-Gal here. And it looks like they're trying to push the meme fan area, as Rissa is able to spot a person sharking with armor. I'm sure anybody who plays the sharking weapon can feel that level of pain. But they're... The problem with pushing here is that it's really only meant as like a last resort for stalling out, because like now that it's there, you either have to wait for it reset or just like wait for it to reset or just fully commit to it. So
right.
Things are looking awfully pear-shaped for Anarchy right now in that regard.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, the Rainmaker is in such an easily defendable position for Paint is Paint right now. But just as I say that, Anarchy able to come in and pick it up. They do drop it before they're actually able to put any points on the board, but they still have the Booyah Bomb on deck. We have Eris pushing up. There's quite a bit going for Anarchy right now. Let's see if they can turn this into some points on the board.
I barely caught it, but I think there was someone attempting to flank on the side of Paint is Paint right now. But they do have the Booyah coming through. In addition to the rain, that's an incredible amount of pressure going on right now from Paint is Paint, allowing K-Bot and Rissa to push up. The Rainmaker push might end pretty momentarily here, although sadly K-Gal will go down at Paint is Paint. Trim, though, still putting on a lot of pressure, not backing down for anything. The K-Bot's just trying to apply, keep as much paint in their street as possible, and moving forward, trying to contest mid. We see 2 members of Anarchy, or 3 members, kind of stuck in left court right now, moving forward, trying to get any kills, but they do have the armor online, so maybe they'll be able to get something. We see Liquid here kind of stuck, forced to retreat, as he will go down to the Slosher right now. That is currently putting a lot of pressure in mid, as they get another kill on the Nautilus here. Prim doing very well on the Slosher with 11 KA already, I must point out.
Yeah, you know, I was going to say that as well. I think that's one of the biggest differences when we look at Paint is Paint having such a dominant game here. And, you know, you try to look at what it is that they've done differently as opposed to the first game, and the biggest thing that I can point to is look at those KAs. I mean, you know, we have every player on the side of Paint is Paint with a significantly higher KA than the previous game, except I think that Blob Lobber. But, you know, they're just winning so many of their team fights and so many of their one-on-ones. And Anarchy is just, they're able to get these pushes started, but Paint is Paint just has so much pressure. We saw that fantastic use of specials to keep Anarchy away from the Rainmaker. Here it is again, throwing out the splash wall, and then also having that rain come out at the same time. I mean, just doing such a good job of keeping control of the area around the Rainmaker.
Definitely. We got 2 seconds left in the game, suddenly going to overtime. There were 2 down on the side of Anarchy as they're forced to push the Rainmaker, and once again they're going to go 2 down. As Krim here is once again flanking, this might be it for them if that bomb doesn't get them, but they're kind of stuck in the street right now. The Blob's putting on a lot of pressure online, in addition to the missiles.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I cannot believe they survived that. This is not a good position to be in, but wow, what a fantastic job this Rainmaker carrier is doing of staying alive. But you can stay alive all you want. If you're not able to push up, the timer on that Rainmaker is going to run out.
I can't exactly tell how much time is left on it, but we do see the armor go offline. We see Rissa was building her Booyah as quickly as possible, but it would appear that Krim was able to get a kill on the Rainmaker somehow. I wasn't quite able to catch it, but still, that was a very nice end to that push. But props to Anarchy for holding out for so long. Able to stop the push at the beginning of the game, in addition to getting it out of the whole meme fan area, and also just stay alive for as long as they could at the end there, under such incredible pressure from the Ink Storm and the Booyah Bomb and missiles.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you look at the KAs at the end of that game, and they were much more even than they were in the first game. We saw the 11 and 12 top KAs on both teams this game, which I think was really nice to see. But Anarchy, like you said, doing a good job of shutting down that push in the beginning, and then I mean, they were doing a fantastic job even after they had gone 2 or 3 members down, being able to keep that Rainmaker and try to continue that push. I mean, they were so close to being able to clutch out that game. So I'm interested to see if that clutch factor will come in handy in our next game, Splat Zones on Manta Maria. Now, of course, this is a play all 3 format, but even if it weren't, these two teams are 1-1 right now. So this will decide the winner of this set here.
Absolutely. In terms of comps on Manta Maria, I'm kind of expecting some variety of change coming from Anarchy right now. I don't know if the NZAP, Kgal, Nautilus, Hydra combo would be able to provide them with that much paint in comparison to what Paint is Paint was bringing online with the Bloblobber and Junior combo, because just Paint for Paint's comp was way more well-rounded in regards to zones, whereas Anarchy could more hold their own in terms of power and Rainmaker, because you don't need as much paint for that. You know what I mean. But indeed, we do see the custom Hydra switching over to 96 gal. Indeed, that's a very nice pick for zones. It's quite slow of a weapon, but it paints very well for something with its range and fire rate. We do see K-Bot coming up here. We do we do see that the Blob on the side of Paint is Paint switched back to the Blob Deco flavor. So that's, I think, a nice pick for this map compared to the vanilla Blob. But looks like Paint is Paint. The Nautilus on the side of Anarchy has gone down, in addition to the 96, so it looks like Paint is Paint is just going to become out strong in terms of advantage here, as they're just moving forward with no penalty already.
Yeah, doing a great job of taking control of that zone very early and really keeping Anarchy out. I'm interested to see how this switch to the Bloblobber Deco goes. A weapon that people really prefer on zones between having the Sprinkler and the Suction Bomb Rush there. But we did see, Pain is Pain doing a really, really fantastic job of playing to the weapon strengths of the vanilla version in the last game. But of course now using that Bomb Rush to really keep Anarchy back and doing a good job of preventing them from taking control of both zones here. But that being said, Anarchy pushing up, Liquid doing a fantastic job of using that splash wall with the K-52 to get a crucial pick and take control of that zone. They're not able to hold it for long, but at the very least they put that 45-point penalty onto Paint is Paint, which puts them in a position to not need to quite rush so much. They do take control of the zone again and are now keeping that push going down to about 75 here. And let's let's see how far they can push this. Paint is Paint trying to push back in. They are being cautious and being very patient, which is a good thing to see.
We do note that they use the Booyah Bomb not to try and go for zone, but mainly just try to get a pick on one of the members that was stuck on right flat, which might seem odd, but I can see that play working since, when you are kind of at a man disadvantage pick for what you want to have. We do see the Inkling coming out, getting a pick on this Bloblobber here. Sadly, will be brought down by Krim once again, as he's just kind of waiting on their bunker, trying to wreak havoc however possible, as they're successfully scaring off anyone back in the street, putting a lot of pressure on this bunker area. We saw him doing that earlier as well. They see the 96 up top left, so they're just chucking bombs up there as well. It does look that Paint is Paint is through with their penalty right now, so they're in a pretty good position at this moment. We do see the Booyah Bomb coming out though. If they're able to paint through it though, and that was the thing they managed to do earlier, is paint through the Booyah, but they definitely stay in control here. We do see they managed to miss zone with it. They did neutralize, but Paint is Paint immediately coming right back down to control. You see Paint is Pain, not to confuse the team name, it's just coming through with this, yeah, I don't get it. Coming through with the the suction launcher, and that's a full wipe on the side of Anarchy. We did see the Blob briefly get a pick on one of the members of Anarchy. That was very nice in itself, but able to just get the net. That was what I mean, where it's like, just as long as you get the picks that you need, you can just do whatever you need to.
Yep, you certainly can. I mean, that's a perfect demonstration of it right there. Paint is Paint, getting the knockout in Game 3, taking this set. I love that we saw a really fantastic amount of patience come out from Paint is Paint. When Anarchy came and took control of the zones, I think it's really easy in that moment when you don't want your opponents to get the lead over you to get kind of impatient and to start to rush or to get nervous. But Paint is Paint, they were able to keep a good stock of how much time they had, how much of a lead they had, and not try to push it. They held back. They had almost a full 60-point lead. So instead of rushing in one at a time and getting picked, they really did a great job of regrouping, of staying back and slowly pushing together, using those specials to push. And that's the type of thing that makes all the difference in a game of Splat Zones.
Absolutely. Using specials such as the Booyah Bomb and Suction Rush will just, if you're smart about it, you can just get through, you can cap any zone that you need to and allow your other members to go through, get their own special, provide picks, etc. Just if you're smart about the way you do things, you can do almost anything.
Yeah, certainly, and again, that was a fantastic demonstration of that. So we are just finishing up round 1 here, and we're going to be going into round 2 very shortly. We're going to take just a very small break beforehand, but already seeing some really, really, really phenomenal action at just the first round of Swimmer Sync 26. So we'll be right back with round 2.
Stay tuned.
And welcome back to Swim or Sink 26. Once again, I'm Crit, and I'm here with Riley, and we are going to be going into round 2 of tonight's tournament. We are going to be seeing Boiz, a really fantastic team, versus Willy Wonka, a team that I'm not familiar with.
I'm pretty sure that this Willy Wonka team, and yes, I'm aware it's spelled with an A. I'm not giving them the satisfaction of pronouncing it the way they probably want me to. But looking at this roster here, I'm fairly certain that it's a pickup if I can find it here. The only player on the side of Willy Wonka that I immediately recognize being Rish, former member of Alacrity and Citrus, a really solid Carbon player in particular.
Oh,
But
that's
on the
interesting.
Yeah, I do not recognize. Actually, wait. I believe this M person on Willy Wonka might be Maikaru, who's like a slosher player, perhaps. But either way, yes, Boiz, very solid team. I believe third place in the most recent SAC season. But we'll have to see what they bring out going forward on Clan Zapper Canal. Except there's a DC right at the very start.
Oh, two sets in a row. Wait, there's a
Two
DC on
DCs.
both teams? You think they're going to just play this out?
I guess they could play out if they wanted to.
We're gonna see what happens if neither of these teams stop playing. Then I guess they're gonna play this out, which I think would be pretty interesting. So we have no Tri-Slosher on one side and no K-Shot on the other. No, it doesn't look like they're playing this out. Does not look like they're playing this out. They're definitely gonna get the KO. Clan Blitz is kind of an annoying mode for this to happen on, huh?
Absolutely.
It takes a little longer to get that KO.
Yeah. I was thinking that they might play out the 3v3 if that's even allowed, but given that they were taking their time getting to mid, it gave me doubts, basically. But either way, we can briefly talk about the comps here. We do see the C-Jet and CDS, in addition to the Carbon and Tri-Slosher, on the side of Willy Wonka. And indeed, that is Maikaru, the Slosher player I was thinking of, who is rather solid mid to high level player, if not straight up high level. That is a very interesting comp. There's a ton of aggression. It might not be as much paint as you would want for weapons like Tri and Carbon, given that those are extremely sharky, aggressive skirmish type weapons. But I could definitely see this working as long as Rish and Mai just go full on balls to the wall aggro. And Boiz coming through with the double Splatling with the Ballpoint Nouveau and Nautilus, which it's not double backline by any means, but it's quite rangy and not a very fast comp. But I could see it working quite well for them because it's a lot of aggression and just solid all around rangy aggressive comp.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see the Tri-Slosher come out here. I think that's quite a nice pick. Strange on a map that favors range a little bit. We do see definitely on the side of Willy Wonka. I mean, their comp was entirely short range, right? The Carbon, the Tri-Slosher. I think their longest range weapon was the CDS, as opposed to Boiz, which, like you said, had two very long range weapons. We'll see how that works out. You know, I mean, Snapper Canal being a map that favors long range, but Clan Blitz being a mode that doesn't necessarily.
I do believe, though, there was the C-Jet on the side of Willy Wonka, which is their highest source of range.
That's right.
Unless CDS actually does outrange it in my entire life.
No, absolutely not. C-Jet, that most certainly outranges CDS.
Right. Well, anyway, we do have a fair amount of range from both teams. I just don't know if the side of Willy Wonka has as much fast paint as one might want to have. But I could definitely still see it working. I'm sure it's a very fun comp to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So again, while we have a couple DCs, teams are kind of getting back into the lobbies. Let's talk a little about the Splatoon community, not just the community, but all the fantastic things that are happening in the community. There are so many tournaments going on right now, not just here at IPL, but also around the community. Some cool ones that are happening right now. We have Squid Junction, a double elimination tournament that offers a counter-picking format. They do a stream as well. And I believe they have their next tournament, the 6th installment of Squid Junction, this Sunday. That's April 25th. Oh, and we're getting back into game one. Here we go, back into Clam Blitz on Snapper Canal.
Nice. So definitely do give Squid Junction your attention. Either way here, we do see that, I believe it was the K-Shot and the Nautilus going all the way to right hill to start, which is a good thing to do at the very start, so it chooses leg and fly. Like, it ensures that you'll have aggression from the both directions. There's 2 down currently on the side of Willy Wonka. The Boiz don't have a lot of clans to work with right now, but they're definitely making an effort to form them. As the Trifoster here is able to get a very nice double on the Boiz, and they get off the armor and power climb. This could be a position to push in, given that they do currently have the man advantage. They do have the inkjet ready on the side of Boiz in addition to the missiles. Missiles are going to be coming out soon. Mai's kind of passing the ball back, waiting for anyone to basically fall into their clutches. They do seem to know that they're surrounded right now. We do have a 2v1 situation going around on the hill, but the 2 behind them have gone down as the inkjet touches them, and Mai accidentally swims back into a bomb. We do see a 2v3 situation going on right now. The K-Shot, I believe, was just kind of checking out the snipe area as Bunda gets the clam off, and Rift is just kind of sharking around, waiting for anyone to fall in and bonk them, as it were. We do see them doing that exact thing on the snipe. It's a very good place for Carbons to be. As Boiz goes 3 down, and that's most likely, almost certainly going to be the end of the push, as we see the junior player pushed all the way back under their basket. So they just kind of have to wait and recuperate, hold on to this armor, and get it online. Although it's going to give Willy Wonka an opportunity to get some control of mid here. We see the CDS is already focusing this left area, kind of ensuring that they divert their attention away from this main area over on right. It doesn't really seem that, sadly, the CDS goes down to a bomb over here. But it doesn't seem that they have a whole lot to push with. They do have the Stingray coming out. Rich is in kind of an interesting spot here. They might be able to get a pick on the ball point, but it's unclear if they will really be able to pick the head right now. They do have the auto launcher, but it's still not super safe to push right now.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, we see Boiz taking a really fantastic lead. And while Willy Wonka, once they were able to kind of get their bearings, was able to push them off, they're not able to get really a solid hold. Right now they're holding only 6 clams. They have the 1 power clam that's about to go away, and the other power clam back at their spawn, or at their basket rather. They were kind of in a position where they had enough clams to make a little push, but just not the situation that they needed. We do see one of the members of Boiz here doing a really good job of kind of sharking around the corner. I like this, holding 9 clams to not give their position away. Now holding 8 clams. I'm sorry, it was 7, then 8 clams. Trying to kind of prevent themselves from really fully forming that power clam, which I think is a good strategy here. And neither team we see right now with enough clams to want to make a real push. 12 on the side of Willy Wonka, 12 on the side of Boiz, 13 now. Let's see which one of these teams can kind of start to take control of the clams and of the map, and hopefully start to get some more points on the board.
Definitely. We do see 2 members on the side of Boiz going down as Setu here is pushing all the way up under the basket. They do appear to be a safe jump for the CJet here to go to, as they kind of clip inside the wall for a second. Sadly, the CDS goes down, but it does seem that Willy Wonka does have mostly control of mid at the moment. Popping out the way, trying to get a kill on anyone they can. They do know that there's someone at right hill, but it looks like King Jojo here on the side of Boiz is going to be able to get that ball open. It doesn't appear that any of the other members of Boiz that were ready to really capitalize on that push.
No.
They do have clams, but they're not really in position, so they've Willy Wonka does have a free pity, basically, waiting for them.
I think that was just kind of a bit of a rushed effort to try to keep Willy Wonka away, keep their attention focused at their own basket for just a few moments longer so they couldn't start up a push of their own. And it may have worked. Willy Wonka was in a good position, but now after that, they've gone a couple members down. Boiz pushing back in, pushing down to 33. A strange move, but one that kind of seemed to work out in the long run.
Definitely. We do see them successfully pressure the Boiz away, and that was a nice move there on one of the members of Willy Wonka, picking up that pity to ensure that they have another one to push with. And they do have a lot of clams going for them right now. Not a whole lot of aggression happening right now. Rich just kind of sharking, waiting for the armor, allowing them to get a pick here with a very
Wow.
Nice jump onto that bunker and a kill on the senior. C-Boys are currently 2 down. They could maybe make a push here if they wanted to. Sadly, the ball point is able to stop them from doing that, and that kitty going into the water is very unfortunate. The CDS here kind of forced to go back, but Rish is able to get the ball in. Are they able to get this in with the jump? Yes, they are, and Setu is able to stay alive. If they can get some more picks in, they can, and he gets another pick. They might be able to get some more clams in if they're fast enough.
And the jump in, look at this, now pushing down to 45. Oh my gosh, so clutch from that CDS. Able to keep that basket open, able to keep their team in there. They push down to 36, they need 2 clams, and they go down almost a full wipe. They do still have the Tri-Slosher up, but I don't think that Tri-Slosher is going to be able to get any clams in. They are not so close to taking that lead at the last second, but C-Boys able to just barely clutch out that victory.
Absolutely. I don't know how I would have been able to handle it if they had taken the lead back at the very end. But we do see how Rish getting that jump onto the bunker area was almost instrumental. I'll have to keep in mind that that's a possible thing to do from now on. But
yeah,
it was just very well played at the very end, and Setu definitely the MVP of that match for Willy Wonka at the very least, enabling them to let that match be as close as it was.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, the way they were able to stay alive for so long really take advantage of the Dually Squelcher's ridiculous amount of mobility, slightly nerfed mobility, but still ridiculous mobility, and kind of keep that good space for their team to start jumping back in, get that crucial pick. I mean, that was really fantastic. So that's going to be one game for C-Boys, and next we're going to be going into Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. What do you think we might see coming out differently, either in terms of comps or strategy from either of these teams, particularly from Willy Wonka, if they want to be able to clutch out a victory here?
Once more, I could kind of see basically the same comp working, although I would maybe expect my could switch to one of the regular sloshers, such as the Hero or Soda Slosher, just to give them something more rangy, but then they'd be skipping on armor. I don't know, it's hard to say. I could really just see anything working for them here, whether it be the Trier, Hero, Soda Slosher, etc. I would probably expect either of the other 3 members to stick on what they do. I don't really know of Rish in particular to do much besides Carbon, but I suppose we'll have to see. And in the case of C-Boys, most of the time when I've seen them recently, they've been playing this exact same comp, so I don't really know how willing they are to switch off of it. That's all I can really say.
Right. Yeah, no, this is definitely kind of comfort picks all around. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of the same weapons come out. I'd be interested if we do see that Tri-Slosher come out again, a weapon that does a really good job, and we do see it come out. That Tri-Slosher can be so valuable here because it's a great weapon at fighting from the low ground. Same thing with the Carbon Roller. Both of those weapons are so good at killing from below a ledge, which is something that you find yourself having to do pretty often on this map.
Absolutely. We do also see the C-Jet swapping out for the plain Splatterscope, as well as the CDS going to Nautilus. I kind of probably would have preferred to see some more hot CDS action, but it is what it is. We do see kind of a 2v1 situation bringing down the Tri-Slosher here as the Nautilus respawn. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of pain mid at all right now, as Oakley kind of gets a nice pick on Resh over here. We do see that someone was pushing all the way up into Willy Wonka's base right now, but that push was promptly ended. And there's kind of a 3-down situation on the side of Willy Wonka right now. Rich able to get a kill, but sadly will be brought down by some of the members of C-Boys. We do see the Ray here, definitely trying to stop this push, although people clustering is not really a good thing to have. They do have the missiles coming out too, but they're definitely putting points on the board, but I can see this ending soon with the amount of pressure I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, C-Boys is doing a really good job of pushing up. They are an immovable object right now. It was nice to see that Ray when the Splatterscope was the last person left alive to kind of help to stall that push a little bit more, but definitely not going to stop it. Pushing down now to 25, and look at this. We see all of Willy Wonka like almost completely unable to even enter their own plat. I mean, kind of just stuck at spawn, and Boiz pushing that tower up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and
Risk
just
with
at
the
the
double.
last second. But we still do have Kim Jojo here, who goes down
Another
too.
double.
Goes down. Wow. So that's 2 doubles in a row. The delayed wipe on the side of Boiz. Willy Wonka have some hope. They are in a position to start something, but boy, it is not easy to push down past 2 points on this map.
Absolutely. We're basically going to be looking at a situation where they need to KO in order to win. We do see them starting out by kind of just waiting to get control of mid. They are 2 down on the side of Boiz. We see the Stingray coming out. Kind of a flank from the Nautilus from looks bit, bringing down the Charger, which is pretty good because that's less pressure on them. Brought down by the Prize Launcher, though. It does seem that Willy Wonka is in an advantage to push. Rich is in a pretty solid spot. Price Launcher is picking up alongside. Rich, I'd like to see some drop starting action, getting a kill on somebody who's not even aware that he's there. And indeed, a kill on the K-shot.
Yeah, sharking from below that ledge. Something again that Carbon is just so good at.
Indeed. We do see the Nautilus on the side of Willy Wonka go down, but also bringing down 2 of the members of Boiz. And we do have the auto launcher. That's putting out a lot of paint onto their flat and pressure on top of that. And we see the Trislaunchers pushing way up. They do get the missiles out, but still, members of Willy Wonka in a pretty good spot right now. We do see them. They're on their way to getting a solid amount of points on the board here. As the Charger's in a good spot. They do have the Ray ready. That might be coming out soon. They might want to hold on to it for just a little bit longer. We do see the visible jump on right stack here as the Nautilus here going for a kill. Charger's trying to back up. They might be popping up that Ray soon as Rich goes down. And indeed, the Prize Launcher also going down. It's a 2 down situation for Willy Wonka right now as Boiz get control of mid.
Yeah, I mean, Willy Wonka does have that Ray on deck, gonna pop it, which will give them the ability to get back in a position to at least start a push, hopefully, but no, not able to get a pick with that Ray. It looks like Boiz is really, really running away with this one. Oh,
You say that, but
just as we say that, yeah, 3 down on the side of Boiz. Hold on, commentators curse a little bit here. Willy Wonka, again, finds himself in a good position to come back and make something happen. Pushing up, using that auto bomb launcher, and really, really doing a good job. Now, this is where I can see Boiz being in a position to really kind of snowball things. When they have that Tri-Slosher and they have that Carbon both pushed so far up in the ability to kind of really play that Slayer game. That being said, the Tri-Slosher does go down, but the Carbon's still putting in quite a lot of work. Ooh, that's everyone except the Carbon going down now. That might be the end of that push.
yeah, and they were trying to hide from his ends up here, but they knew they were there, and sadly brought down by one of the members on top left. That's going to be probably game right now, but still, that was incredibly even match. It was yet another instance of a game that looked like it was going to totally be in the favor of Boiz, but Willy Wonka making clear that, okay, no, this game's 5 minutes long. We're not going to waste a single second, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Boiz able to, twice in a row now, do a really good job of holding their lead at that last second overtime when it really looks like Willy Wonka is going to be able to come back and take it. I think that we've seen twice now Willy Wonka able to put in incredible pushes, but not until the end of the game where they really need that clutch factor. I would like to, I think, see from the side of Willy Wonka that sort of sense of urgency come out really early in the match, because we see Boiz having such a strong start and doing such a good job of taking a lead, and then at the end game they don't have to play in such a way where they need to be putting pressure on to take a lead. They just have to be playing a great defensive game, which they are absolutely able to do.
Absolutely, and definite props to Rish, because if he had not gotten those 2 doubles right back to back, that game probably would have not lasted as long as it was. But either way, solid effort all around. We're moving into, I believe it was
Rainmaker Starfish. Right? Yeah.
I didn't read the mode in time. I thought I thought it said Clan Blitz again, but whatever. Rainmaker Starfish.
Rainmaker Starfish. Here we go. Similar comps coming out. We have the Tri Slosher again and the Carbon Deco again. We're back to the CDS and then the Bladder Scope on the side of Willy Wonka. We do still have that Nautilus and the Ballpoint, the double Splatlands coming out on the side of Boiz. Definitely more ranged weapons, although the longest range weapon being the Splatter Scope on the side of Willy Wonka. Oh my gosh, right away, running away with it. The push up to 7 points. How did that happen? That was
a game.
that was something, huh? Oh my gosh, I wasn't done looking at the comps yet.
I mean, I guess when you go 2 down to comp and have enough aggression to bring someone else down with you, leaving only a ballpoint alive, yeah, you can kind of tend to get a move on.
Hey, that's Rainmaker, right?
Like
wow.
The chat says, that's Rainmaker for you.
Yeah. It certainly is. All right, that was a fantastic performance from Willy Wonka, able to take that just like I had said, really put in that sense of urgency very early in the game, take that early almost team wipe, and then just take such strong advantage of it. I mean, that was a fantastic game. The set obviously still going to Boiz 2-1, but of course in a play all three, every single game that you take counts towards your seeding once we get into top cut. So a great job from Willy Wonka there.
Absolutely. Excited to see where these guys end up in terms of top cut. If they end up in one of the lower brackets, I could see them taking it straight up. But either way, that's going to be it for round 2 of group stage. We'll be right back soon with going into round 3 of the group stage. And then after that, we'll be in top cut territory. So stay tuned, everybody.
And once again, we're back with Swim or Sink 26. Again, I am Crit, and I'm here with Riley, and we're about to get into round 3. So far, we've had 2 fantastic sets on stream, both very exciting, although both beginning game 1 with a DC. So we'll see if that happens 3 for 3. This set is going to be Midnight versus Div9. What do we know about these teams, Riley?
Well, Midnight is a team that recently got Div 3, and I believe they recently completed their roster, adding this Geo individual, so good on them. We've seen them. I've commentated these guys a number of times in the past, so it's nice to see them again. They're quite strong players, as well as Div 9, which is a pickup here, which is false advertisement if I've ever seen it, because I'm noticing we've got players from teams such as Rising Matrix, Fantasy, Avalanche, as well as Havoc and Red Spy, who I don't know if they're on teams, but they're just very strong players in general. I'm excited to see Div 9 playing because a fair amount of names I recognize.
Yeah, yeah. We have 2 teams with pretty recognizable names and 2 teams with players that we know are going to be very good. And so, I think it's safe to say that we're going to have a 3rd round in a row of fantastic action here at Swim or Sink. We are going to be starting on Splat Zones on Humpback Pump Track, a fantastic zones map, and one that's usually very aggressive, very scrappy, and fun to watch.
Absolutely. It's mainly just a matter of it's word on the street that it's a matter of how many booyah bombs you bring to the table. But generally, Humpback is a map where really there's not really any weapons that are bad on it. So I'm just curious to see what they bring out here because either way, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, okay, so we do have a really interesting comp coming up for Midnight, a really fantastic comp, very kind of Slayer heavy. I mean, we have the Slosher, the Tri-Slosher, the Soda Slosher, the Tri-Slosher, and that Neo Splash-O-Matic. 3 weapons that are so good at not just controlling terrain, especially that Splash-O-Matic, but just getting picks. We do see that in Div 9 going 2 down already. On the side of Div 9, of course, we do have the K-Machine, the K-52, also really good at taking picks. And then we have the Junior for the armor support, and of course, that backline Splat Charger, sorry.
Definitely. Penta is an extremely scary Charger main to fight if you've never had to face him before. But we do see the dueling Booyah Bombs coming up here. Zone going in the favor of Midnight very briefly, but Div 9 instantly taking it back. You do see Rhythm getting a nice pick here on the Splash-O-Matic here, but sadly it'll be brought down by the Tri-Slosher here. Going to this flank, but they're going to be brought down in turn by the K-52 here. I'm noticing that I say that it's a matter of how many Booyah Bombs to bring out, but we both have 1 apiece from each team right now, interestingly enough. But we do see one of the members of Midnight goes down, and it looks like Div 9 is just going to come right back into control. Because Havoc putting some pressure on this right window area, and they've got the Burst Rush coming out too, which is going to put a lot of pressure on the Splat, as it looks like it's going to mostly nullify the armor. Although they do have the Burst Rush coming out too. Or Suction Rush, I believe, and using Booyah Bomb to counter that is very good because it'll dissipate anything. And we see 2 of the members of Div 9 going down as Midnight is picking up and trying to get into an advantage state. It seems that the K-52 is going to take this right elbow area, which is very good because getting on the plat for the lockout is definitely a good idea. Although the Booyah Bomb and the Dynamo Roller will probably prevent that. But either way, we do see the Booyah Bomb kind of forcing the K-52 to forfeit this position and focus zone as 2 of the members of this can go down. So it looks like Midnight might be going back into advantage here as they pop the Booyah Bomb. Probably a bit late, but it'll definitely make people move around.
Yeah, it certainly will. Midnight doing a good job of getting themselves back in control, but you never want to have that penalty when you're trying to make up for some lost time here. Div 9 obviously still holding the lead and doing a good job of neutralizing zone and taking zone. That Booyah Bomb is really coming in handy for them, being able to flip that zone so quickly. But of course, Midnight able to do the same thing. This is one of those positions where we see the zone just flipping back and forth. And if you're the team that already has the lead, that's just fine. But if you're Midnight, the team that's trying to make up that deficit, you want to be able to hold that zone a little longer. And of course, just as I say that, now they're about to get to the end of their penalty. Let's see if they can make some real points come from this. They do have the Booyah Bomb on deck, which will be great. Oof. And that K-52 goes down. They do not have the Booyah Bomb on deck to quickly flip back that zone. Div9 doing a really good job of taking advantage of that pick as soon as it happened to go and take zone without the threat of that Booyah Bomb looming over them.
Absolutely, and you saw that Nova here is being forced to jump back out. Just kind of maintain the armor, which is nice. You don't want to force a fight as a junior if you don't have to, because then you're risking not having armor for slightly longer. But we do see they managed to bring down the Slosher on the side of Div9, forcing another member to jump back, and killing the Dynamo, which is very huge because they had that Booyah Bomb online, so that would probably be, you know, one more instance of taking the zone away from Midnight, and we see them out of their penalty. They only have like 10 points until they take the lead here. Are they able to hold it off for long enough? It certainly looks like they're having some difficulty like staving off the pressure, but we saw the splashdown to counter the bomb rush in addition to the Booyah Bomb coming out from Rhythm here. Sadly going to get knocked down by the Dynamo, but the Dynamo is the last alive as Midnight is taking lead, and it looks like they're going to go right back into control of it as the Dynamo is just kind of stuck here in a position getting pressured quite heavily. They are able to put a lot of paint on zone, and they do have the Booyah online, which is nice. They have less than a minute here. They're going to use that Booyah to counter the bomb rush, which is, again, as I said, a nice play, but Dynamo's just kind of stuck here in the front line.
Yeah, I mean, Midnight doing a really good job of... oof. We see the team coming out.
Man, if there was one match where you didn't want to have a DC...
Wait, were players DC'd, or did our streamer just lose connection? The game might still be going on. I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna have to find that out behind the scenes.
I want to say that it might have been the streamer DCing because I saw everybody freeze in place. I don't know.
That's kind of what it looks like. We'll see. We'll see in a moment. I mean, we did see Midnight there able to flip back and take the lead, and Div9 was trying to come back and get back into that zone. So I don't think we're getting a response from the teams, which I think means that they were still in the game. We will find out. All right. While we get that sorted out, never actually had a chance to tell you where you can go to sign up for or watch Squid Junction. You can check out their Discord server. Just go to discord.io/squid_junction, and you'll be able to find out a whole lot more about that tournament and join in that tournament as well. A really fantastic one. But of course, for some more tournaments, you can, stay tuned to IPL, Inkling Performance Labs, this Twitch channel right here, where we host a ton of tournaments. This week, we have a few coming up. On Friday, we have Testing Grounds 15, which is a really awesome every other week tournament that we run here, which usually, is for testing out new comps and all sorts of different strategies. And we tend to have a lot of pretty high level teams, which is always a lot of fun. And then also this weekend is Low Ink. Low Ink April starts this weekend. That's going to be April 24th. That is a 2-day long tournament, for lower level teams here at IPL. That is, I believe, the one that we've been doing the longest by far, and the one that we're the most well known for. That is happening this weekend. It's always a lot of fun. The tournament where you fight to get banned.
Absolutely. Given especially that a lot of teams that got Div 4 recently, this is their last stand. So if any of you want to steal that title from them, which why would you? This is your chance. So go on in, as long as you're not too good. So yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like we got confirmation that Midnight has won that first game. So they were apparently able to hold that lead.
Very good effort. We did see that obviously I can't speak for the last few bits of that match, but it did seem that the Dynamo was kind of in a tough spot to really operate from in that just kind of cubby area. Although definitely I'm sure it was a very enthralling end of that match too. We just saw a lot of smart usage of the Booyah from Geo and Rhythm Splashdown to just counter all the specials that Div9 had going for them. But either way, looks like we're moving into round 2 here, which is Clan Blitz on Mako Mart.
That's right. Classic. An absolute classic. Such a small and squished together map with such a tiny mid zone. This one's always a lot of fun, especially Clan Blitz. There's going to be so much fighting that we see. I'm very interested to see this comp that we have on Midnight here. The Tri-Slosher and the Splasher-Matic both coming back out. Two weapons that I love, but we also see the Explosher, which I think is a really, really interesting pick for Clan Blitz Mako Mart.
Definitely Baller is a classic choice for Clan Blitz, so I can't really be too surprised by it. I also appreciate Red Spy here on the H3 nozzle and OC, always a fun weapon to see. Either way, moving into this match, it's already kind of a bloodbath in mid right now. A bunch of teams just going 2 down, and once again Div9 is in a 2 down scenario as Midnight's already started to push with 2 members here on the kind of flank side, kind of wreaking havoc. Not to be confused with the player on the side of Div9, just getting yet another 3 down scenario as the K-Shots just kind of stuck here, fighting the Splash here, just going on a total rampage.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, Midnight is doing such a good job of prolonging this push. They've kept that basket open for so long, not able to keep it going, but only because they didn't have more clams. They were still in a fantastic position there, pushing up and still taking picks off of Div9. So we'll see what Div9 answer is back to this, but already Midnight has another power clam on the board, and Div9 only has 7 clams on the board. They do still have that pity clam that they could pick up, however.
Absolutely, but is they're just able to get control of mid? Oh no.
Oh.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen for a second. If I know anything on this map from my team, it's that a lead of 44 is by no means safe. It's solid, but it's not, it's not insurmountable. But, yeah, I guess we just kind of won't know how that match went.
Unfortunately not. I'm not sure what ended up happening here.
I believe it was confirmed that this was, in fact, the streamer DCing, though, so it's not really any of the players.
Yes, at least the first game. It was definitely the streamer DCing, so I'm going to assume that's what happened again. We will see, though. Obviously, right now, Midnight in a really good position, but like you said, that is absolutely never a sure thing on Mako Mart.
Absolutely, but indeed, just as Midnight had gotten through with that push, they'd already gotten a lot of control in mid. They had specials online. They had, I forgot if I said that they had clans online, but they did have that too. So they were just already in kind of a strong position. We saw, it was basically just a matter of Div9 getting a lot of really clutch picks to stop that in order to kind of push forward and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will see how that turns out. I mean, we haven't heard anything yet, which I think means that the game is still going on. So we'll see.
We're just gonna have to kind of try and use our imaginations here in terms of what's going on.
Well, regardless of what happens in this game 2, we are going to be going into game 3 because, of course, this is a play all 3 format, which is going to be tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard. So while we wait to see how this plays out, let's talk a little bit about tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard, because that's always quite a fun map mode to play.
Absolutely. I'm thinking in terms of what we've seen from both teams thus far, Midnight might have a good advantage here because it's a very good map for Charger, as well as a very good map for K-Machine, which Rhythm on the side of Midnight is known to play. So if the other 2 members are able to just kind of work around that, it can definitely go into their favor. Although Div9, the roster on that team is very strong, so I could, they each kind of occupy similar niches, although Div9 seems to be going mostly backline-less.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be kind of evenly matched all around, I think. Yeah,
we will see. Like you said, going back lineless is going to be interesting. I think Sturgeon Shipyard, like we've seen already tonight, is one of those maps that is really good when for a good backliner. I mean, you just have such a wide open area, but obviously both teams, I think, able to play to their own strengths a little bit. We have seen things like Tri-Slosher perform pretty well on that very map tonight already, so we will see how that goes.
Absolutely. Tri-Slosher, also a very strong weapon on Sturgeon, just in general, really. Tower control, in particular, yeah, it's quite a strong choice for that map because there's a lot of varying level geography that the Tri can use to kind of just rain death on everybody. It's a very effective pick.
Yeah, it most certainly is. So let's see. And then after this round is going to be when we're going into Top Cut as well. So, this is. I don't know. Let me check exactly what the how these two teams have done already tonight. I think this could probably make a difference for at least one of them for what bracket they're going to make it to in Top Cut here. So it looks like in round 2, Midnight and Div9 both going 3-0, and same thing in round 1. So both of these teams right now came into this set undefeated. That's something interesting that I didn't know. Both these teams came in 3-0. Midnight has now taken 2 games. It appears that while we weren't able to see, Midnight was able to win that game of Clan Blitz, Mako Mart. So this is interesting. Div9, a team that very talented, like you had said, coming into this set 6-0 so far. Now Midnight able to take 2 games off of them. Obviously Div9 able to make it this far undefeated is a really fantastic team. They're going to have to do something to adapt a little bit here on Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard. I don't know exactly what that is, because we haven't gotten to really see the full extent of their gameplay. And in game 1, what we did see of them was really good, able to hold that zone extremely well. So we'll see what sort of adjustment they try to bring out to take a game here at the end of this. But either way, I think we're going to see both of these teams seeded pretty well going into Top Cut.
Absolutely. In terms of like the right now moment, well, yeah, as far as Top Cut goes, I could see both of these teams ending up in the Great White bracket. It's just a matter of who goes further. These are 2 very strong rosters that are just very strong. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, either way, in terms of the Game 3, it's kind of hard to just make predictions. I've already said that this is kind of a map that favors Midnight's comp more, just in general. But it's just a matter of seeing them actually put their plans into motion.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, Midnight obviously already taking 2 games. They most certainly have something figured out here, whether it be their playstyle is working against Div9 or that they are just on their game tonight. Again, Midnight completely undefeated going into this. So far, they're 8-0 tonight. But of course, this is still Swiss.
Absolutely. Although Swiss, every game matters. So of course, Div9 is going to be trying to take this as hard as they can.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. Div9, we have the Bamboo Mark 1 and the Vanilla Slosher, so it's double missile. On this map, that's a pretty nice thing to have. I also want to note that Midnight has swapped out Geo for Authentic, rather. Mm-hmm. And it's notable swapped out right now. But either way, we've got the Neo Splash on the side of Midnight. It's gone 2 down, but they still have quite a bit of control mid, but it looks like Div9 successfully chased them out. They're in a position to push right now, as one of the members is up on Spinner. Penta here getting in a good position, able to get basically anybody who's on site or anybody who's in kind of that little mini street area here. But it looks like Div9 is just dominant in pushing right now, bringing down the K-Machine as well as the Splash on the side of Midnight. And they have the armor online, Havoc kind of putting in pressure, getting another kill on the Charger here. They've already pushed down to 30, and we're not even a minute into the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic push that we're seeing come out. Whatever the adjustment it was that Div9 needed to make, it looks like they've made it. Of course, they do still go a few members down. Midnight has an opportunity to make a push of their own, and those big pushes are known to happen here. So we will, we'll see if Midnight is able to turn this back around. Again, in game one, if you remember, Midnight, when we saw them, they were down. Div9 was winning for most of game one before we had lost connection, and Midnight was able to make a pretty big comeback there. So something that they're obviously pretty good at doing. No strangers to kind of making the comeback. That being said, they are getting 2 picks. So 3 members down on the side of Div9, and Midnight now pushing up down into the 40s. They actually might be able to do this with a single push, take that huge lead. Where is Div9? They're starting to come back, but being picked off before they even can. 2 go down on the side of Midnight too. We're just seeing kind of pick for pick here, but Midnight is able to hold the tower, pushing out to 10 points now, and they really did it. They took the lead. With one single push, they were able to take that lead and take the knockout.
It looked like Div9. Havoc was very close to getting that pick on the tower, but they were able to just get it on by. And then Rhythm coming in with the splashdown to just kind of clean out anybody who's nearby. That might have saved the game for them, but still, that was a huge comeback. It was basically a repeat of round 1, but like in that regard. But indeed, Div9 coming out extremely dominant, such as on the NZAP here in particular with Jackson from Avalanche. But it was a very solid effort, but Midnight just able to bounce back even harder.
Yeah. I mean, just like we saw in what we did see of game 1, Midnight doing a really great job of making that comeback. I mean, we will see, again, both of those teams have performed really well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the same bracket going into Top Cut, but Midnight has got to be feeling pretty good right now heading into Top Cut 9-0.
Indeed, they're now completely undefeated moving forward. Very nice to see, very expected, frankly. They're definitely, from what I noticed, one of the best teams currently participating in this that is signed up. So definitely keep your eyes on them in Top Cut. It would be very nice to see them win this. I'm not sure if they've ever won in testing grounds before, but it would be a nice thing to see, plainly.
Yeah, certainly would. It certainly would. We will see how that goes for them. I mean, again, in a very good position going forward. So maybe they'll be able to carry that momentum. And, it would be it's always fantastic to see such momentum be carried into Top Cut and what teams are able to do with it. So again, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be going into round 1 of Top Cut. So hang tight for some more fantastic Splatoon action here at Swim or Sink 26. And we are back once again, Swim or Sink 26 here on Inkling Performance Labs. Again, for the third time, I'm Crit, and I'm here with Riley, and we are about to go into Top Cut.
Absolutely. Welcome back. This is what you've been waiting for, essentially.
It certainly is. So I know we were talking a little bit about seeding coming off of that last round. Midnight did end up making it here into the Great White Bracket, so we very well may see them on stream later. Div9, it looks like, didn't quite. But for our first game in Top Cut, we're going to be watching Pure Divinity versus Ape Mode 420.
This should definitely be an interesting matchup. I'm looking at the roster for Ape Mode 420. And I'm not really familiar with any of these members. I have seen the name Sticky before, but I am mostly in the dark when it comes to these teams. Pure Divinity, I'm much more familiar with as a team that has risen extremely fast through low to mid. Now they're making their way up to roughly being around like Div 2 level. They recently played in Midway, the first Midway tourney of this season, getting second place, falling to Inkling Heroes. So it's nice to see them playing again. You might have seen it for like half a second, but I believe our first match is indeed Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park.
Certainly is.
Let's see the comps going here.
Yeah, here we go. I actually really like the comps we have coming out. Obviously, no surprise at all to see that we have C-Jet on both sides. I mean, just the Ray spam is so dang good on Blackbelly Rainmaker. We also see the Neo Splash on both sides. I love that weapon. It's so fun to see. Obviously the most accurate weapon in the game. That thing shoots like a laser, and in the hands of the right player, it can be absolutely deadly. On top of it also being fantastic at controlling paint.
Absolutely. Splash is the kind of weapon where it's like, it's relatively easy to learn but hard to master. Your aim needs to be on point and nothing less. But either way, yeah, we have two extremely just basic, well-rounded comps here. Basic, not necessarily in a bad way, but right. Anywho, we do see this Splash here on the side of 8 mode, kind of just vying for paint in mid, watching for any sort of flank. There might be something going right here, the teammate might have called it out, but it appears that Pure Divinity is mostly pushed kind of back at the moment. No one has really made any effort to push yet, although they do have the armor and Stingray on the side of Pure Divinity. They see someone trying to come up left on the side of 8 mode, Mary kind of trying to fight this off as one of the members of Pure Divinity goes down. They're just kind of trading blows at the moment, but it looks like that's going to be a wipe for Pure Divinity. Wow. 8 mode has free reign to just push as far as they'd like, unless Kelp here, I believe this is from the Neo Splash for Pure Divinity, is able to put a stop to it early. Deadly gets brought down. But Wave on the C-Jet manages to stop the Rainmaker in its tracks. That's a very nice stop to that push. 25 is very solid for this map, but there's no safe leads in Rainmaker. And two down on the side of 8 mode. So this might be kind of a turning point here. It's too early to say, but if they're able to let this Rainmaker reset, Pure Divinity has 3 specials online. This could be good for them moving forward.
It could be. I will say in the beginning, we saw both of those teams showing such an incredible amount of patience. I say that all the time, but it was, almost a minute and a half into the game, no one had picked up the Rainmaker. It had been popped, and both teams were just taking the opportunity to focus on the team fight, focus on winning that team fight, so that then they could pick up the Rainmaker. Obviously, 8 mode came out on top, and look how much they were able to get off of that. The push down to 25 is nothing to scoff at. Of course, like you said, push down to 25 is not a certain thing on Rainmaker, and especially on Blackbelly Rainmaker, this can definitely snowball pretty fast if you're able to get one good team wipe and maybe a couple more picks. So we'll see. Pure Divinity doing a really good job of just putting some paint on the map, trying to push back in and take that Rainmaker, but 8 mode 420 doing a really good job of playing defensively. We see specials coming out. The cannon missiles just came out. The ray just came out. One does go down on the side of 8 mode, and Pure Divinity finally, with 2 minutes left for the first time in this game, is able to pick up the Rainmaker, bring it to 65, but then the Rainmaker carrier does go down, although they do immediately get the pop on it again. Let's see if they're going to pick it up to be able to make something on this. Ooh, a great opportunity to throw this Booyah Bomb here. Just throwing it at their feet there, trying to kind of keep the enemy away and stay alive. Good thing to do. And once again, they reset the Rainmaker, but are able to pick it up very quickly. Still, only a push down to 65. They need to... They're doing a good job of keeping control of mid. They're doing a good job of holding their own, but they, you know, in a mode like Rainmaker, you need to do more than just hold your own. You need to be able to really push up and really play very mobile and very aggressive.
Definitely. It looks like the started something very nice with Pure Divinity there. They were getting a lot of really consistent picks on the enemy team, and just getting nice pushes and getting specials off. It does seem that Advantage scenario has popped back in the favor of 8 mode, although Kelp's getting a nice kill here. Sadly going to get brought down by basically the insta-pop from this suction bomb launcher here, allowing the Splash to kind of push forward. It doesn't seem that they want to grab the Rainmaker yet, they're just kind of waiting for more of an opportunity there. And with Wave on the Stingray, it's putting out a lot of pressure as he brings down the Splash here. And it's 2 down to the side of 8 mode as one comes off of the respawn here. Although they do have the Ray coming out, and indeed they have popped it, so 8 mode has their Ray holding on, and there's only 15 seconds left in this game. They're definitely hanging on to that easy Ray in particular, unless they can get a kill on it easily. But yeah, things are looking kind of dicey for 2D right now.
They are, you know, with that being said, they're taking a good bit of map control. They do have 2 specials on deck. Uh-oh, the GG Ray. The GG Ray does it. Every time the GG Ray does it. You know, with those 2 specials on deck for Pure Divinity, you know, they may have had an opportunity to try to take out that Ray before it could get the Rainmaker. But, I mean, the infinite range makes that real hard.
Absolutely, and it was a very solid showing from this Zap player for 8 mode, I must say in particular. But we did see the counter Ray come out from Pure Divinity, but sadly it just wasn't quite fast enough to take out 8 mode's Ray in particular. Kind of have to wonder how far Pure Divinity would have been able to go had that Ray not been there to stop them.
Right, that very well may have been what gave them the little bit of push they needed to take the lead. We won't know that though. Unfortunately, we're gonna go right into game 2. Splat zones on Wahoo World. And personally, I love splat zones on Wahoo World. I know a lot of people don't love the fact that it's a map that changes shape so much, but I think this is. I love the walls around the zone. I think it makes for a totally unique play style where you can really play that sort of defensive game, but also it's great for pushing back in, you know, throwing things like auto bombs into that zone can be really effective. You know, when you have weapons like something like a Blobber is so effective here because you can kind of hide behind those walls and really just bounce paint into the zone. Really any kind of slosher can really thrive here, just being able to hurl paint over those walls. So we'll see what we might see coming out.
Absolutely. I believe this was a map mode that I saw Pure Divinity play in Midway the other day. Kind of curious to see what they bring out here. We do have an E-leader in favor, like, instead of the C-Jet for 8 mode. And, Pain switching to the K-Shot instead of a K-Pro. And, other than that, it's basically the same thing here. We see Mary going for this quick armor. Already a pick on the E-leader. Sadly, Mary goes down to the CDS, just kind of just going for that early left blast flank, which is always a very good strategy to do. But, Pure Divinity, they do have lead right now, but it's not much of one, and they went 2 down a second ago. Sticky here on the CDS, kind of just waiting, trying to see if there's any clear picks that they can get. Popping the rain. They do have the bomb rush coming out in the set of Pure Divinity. Kane putting some pressure on the C-Jet, in addition to the bomb rush on them, but they got a kill on, I believe, the end up with rain. Kane here, though, getting that nice double. Flash is the last slide. This is an opportunity for them to take zone. although one of them is Pure Divinity going down to this splash in particular. Kelp is just kind of, Pain is kind of in a similar situation to what the TDS is doing, kind of just scoping the situation, trying to see if there's anybody trying to go in a specific way that they can take on that 1v1.
Yeah, Pure Divinity finally able to come back and take that lead here, but we do have 8 mode 420, all 4 members up. Pure Divinity going 2 down, pushing in, taking the zone, just like that. I mean, they still do have a bit of a penalty, and then they're at about a 20-point deficit. I think so far we've seen the players of 8 mode have such a fantastic survivability here. Again, look at this. We're seeing this Dually Squelchers player over and over. They use that mobility to their advantage, and they've been able to, even if they're not getting the most picks, what they at least are doing is being a distraction on Pure Divinity. They can't focus all their effort on the zone because they have that Dually Squelchers just rolling around and kind of being a pain and being a threat. And look, here they are again, kind of trying to play distraction to that E leader, and it works out well.
Definitely.
I'm sorry, not to the E leader, to the splatter scope.
Understandable. 2 down currently for Pure Divinity, and we did see the TDS doing a lot of good work there, as Pure Divinity was coming in with their bomb rush right now, but they were just solid painting over it, like basically preventing that nothing gets done. Wave! That was an extremely good snipe on that E leader right now. This is a very good Charger player, and another kill in that Splatoon coming through with that bomb rush, basically whittling away at this penalty. There's not much to go through, but if they can just get the fix that they need, because they're not by any means in a man advantage, especially after going 2 down. But yeah, you got to jump on LaFlash here. So it's Zone's going to be going back in the favor of 8 mode, but things definitely do look possible for Pure Divinity here to take it back as long as they're able to get more picks here. Because as you mentioned, 8 mode's doing really good in terms of survivability, and then they go 2 down, unaware. But getting the missiles on the Charger, they could definitely take the track, and they got to do it fast because 8 mode doesn't have much time to go left.
Yeah, no, they don't. Oh, nice. Pure Divinity, just at the perfect time, able to flip that zone back, but they have to hold it for quite a while. I mean, they still have a minute 30 here, so they definitely have some time to play a little bit patiently. We do see them, both teams, going 1 member down, and now Pure Divinity going 2 members down. All they have left is the Charger and that Zap, which is going to be very difficult to hold zone with. We have bombs, we have specials coming in from 8 mode, and they are able to neutralize the zone. Are they going to be able to flip it completely? No.
Yeah.
Pure Divinity able to. Oh, yep. Pure Divinity holding their lead there. Oh, now they're not.
That was very close. Sadly, the Charger was really the only one that was in a position to kind of contest the paint there, but they have the bomb rush out right now. 35 is not a terrible penalty to go through. There are still more than 30 seconds left in this game. Once again, if Pure Divinity is able to get picked, they can maybe take this back, although Wave going down is kind of bad. But Mary getting a nice pick on one of the members here, and the Elite is the last alive. Going back to work and getting rid of this penalty. Mary, I don't know if I would push up that much alone, but it's like, just get a lot of paint in their plat and prevent them from doing anything. This is potentially a huge situation for Pure Divinity right now. They can't die mindlessly right now. The CDS is making an effort, going in, but backing out into a bomb that they couldn't see it right in front of them. But they're out of penalty. Can they take lead? Indeed they are. They were able to hold on.
With 2 seconds left going into overtime in 8 mode, now in control of the zone. Possibly, not in a position to take that lead. We see Pure Divinity coming and getting those last minute picks and then taking it in overtime. What a fantastic game that was. I mean, Pure Divinity was putting up a great fight the whole game, but 8 mode just had such a powerful lead from the very start. I mean, that really did feel like definitely an uphill battle for Pure Divinity, but they were able to take it. That was very impressive at the end there.
This definitely shows that Pure Divinity can easily go toe-to-toe with these guys. I feel like this will definitely kind of light a fire under them right now, because that basically shows hey, we can do this. So now we have momentum to capitalize on, with Wave getting a lot of clutch snipes, and Mary getting some very instrumental picks right at the very end. So definitely solid effort.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. We are now 1-1 here in our first set of Top Cut. I mean, both of these teams performing so well. It's hard to really look at either of these teams and say definitively what it is that they can change to start outperforming their opponents here, because they've been so even and so well matched here. That being said, next we are going to be going into Clam Blitz on Inkling Art Academy. And this is while Clam Blitz is always fast paced, Inkblot is one where you have to kind of really play together with your team. Coordination is going to be very important, because it's not easy to make it up onto that plat with enough clams to actually score some real points. It's not that hard to get there with the single power clam, but to have your team follow you, you really need to make a coordinated push here.
Absolutely, you can't really just go in while all of the enemy is still alive, unless they're just completely drawn out of position.
Right. So, this isn't Humpback.
Yeah, but going in straight off into the game, we see kind of similar-ish. Wait a second.
Wait, they're on the wrong map and mode.
Oh. Okay, well I guess we're doing things slightly out of order here. It is still on the map list. I guess we're stopping them from doing this as game 3 instead of 4 or whatever.
Wait, it's not. So. It's tower control on Anchovy and Rainmaker Snapper. Right? Unless if my map list was wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But hey, we're in tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard. Here we go.
Right. Well, we do see that 8 mode is making a good effort to kind of contest the small push that Pure Divinity just made. Ren here on the Stingray putting in a lot of work, getting a nice kill on Stealth here for a second. They're getting quite considerably pushed out of position into this right mid area, but they're able to get right back on the tower. Pure Divinity goes 2 down, and it looks like they're getting through this checkpoint, making a solid effort to kind of put a real dent into their number of points remaining here. Although Pure Divinity is kind of lacking in terms of the specials they have online, especially now that 2 of their members are down. The most that they have to really stop this right now is Tentacles.
Yeah, which is not going to do all that much on its own. That's really one of those specials that needs to be coordinated with others. But, this wouldn't be the first time that we see 8 mode take a big lead, and then, there it is. There it is, the very early knockout by 8 mode 420. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to count because it was the wrong map mode.
I am not entirely sure.
We'll find out. But either way, really fantastic performance there from 8 mode, being able to get that huge knockout very early on.
Indeed. I don't know if this map list on screen is incorrect, but Tower Control Sturgeon Shipyard is nowhere to be seen. So I guess that could just potentially serve as a nice little...
We are getting the word that game does not count.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that nice little exhibition match.
Yes, that very quick KO exhibition match there. If you're Pure Divinity, find out that game doesn't count. You are breathing a sigh of relief right now, I'm sure. Because, that now we get back to the 1-1 state that we were in before. And hopefully these teams will now be going into Clam Blitz on Inkblot Art Academy.
Definitely. So, as we were kind of saying before, this isn't really a map that you can just play as quickly as you would like for it, as you would probably like to, because there's just no real easy, quick road up to their basket.
Right.
You have the step as well as going through their elbow, which is kind of a lengthy process due to the uninkable turf along the way. But if you're able to get picked, then you can just... As long as you have clams at the ready, you can just really make some progress in terms of lead.
You certainly can. I mean, this is one of those maps where a special that allows you to push an area, something like bubbles is so strong here because when you're going up that step, you deploy those bubbles, and they do a really fantastic job of covering you, acting as a shield almost for you to get up there. Also, things like tents or even splash walls tend to be really powerful here, where that step is so risky, but if you have something to keep you safe, then it's a fast route. Ooh, we have bamboos coming out on both teams.
Absolutely. No sort of bubble, tent, or splash wall, anything
Nope,
that you just
nothing.
mentioned. But it's still very solid comp that could definitely make some work here. We do see mid control is fairly split right now, as Mary is kind of just focusing on kills. But if it works, it works. And indeed, one of the members on 8 mode has gone down. That's a 2-down situation. Mid control still seems to be mostly in the favor of 8 mode, but it looks like Pure Divinity is going to get a push off right now as Boiz just gets that, or Help, excuse me, just gets that ball in. And it's a 2-down situation once again for 8 mode. And they do have no real shortage of clans left right now, although Kelp is kind of stuck on this drop right now. But they're able to continue on with the push, getting it all the way down to 38, not even a minute into the game. Very nice.
That is very nice. We do see Pure Divinity. They go 2 down, 3 down, however, and look at how much yellow we see on the map. 8 mode in a good position to start taking some clams of their own, but 38 is definitely nothing to scoff at here. We do see them with 2 power clams. These two teams have nearly identical comps here, with the exception of the T-Tech and the Dually Squelchers there. So this is actually quite an interesting matchup to see. Here we go, coming in, taking control of the plat, getting 1 and 2 power clams in, but we do see a lot of purple here. They're going to need to start getting some picks on the members of Pure Divinity if they want to extend this push. Pushing down to 39, they need 1 clam, but they're not going to get that single clam. It looks like that basket is going to close. Wow, so close to being able to take that lead. But that's all right. We still have more than 3 minutes left in this game. If you're Pure Divinity, you're breathing another sigh of relief that you're able to shut down that push, but not entirely yet, because you still got to, keep 8 mode from scoring that 32 more points for the next 3 minutes. That being said, Pure Divinity now holding 2 power clams, looking like they might be ready to make a push of their own.
It definitely seemed like they were doing a good job of getting paint in mid, as well as getting a couple of picks, for that matter, and just having their specials all online. But 8 mode, as quickly as they went down, they went straight back up, and that was a very nice kill in the middle. 8 mode now in a 2-down situation. But them all coming back online, in addition to popping up the armor, is kind of an unfortunate situation, especially for the Bamboozler right now. So they kind of had to fall back a bit, but it looks like Pure Divinity's in a good spot right now. The splash has gone down, but they're kind of waiting for the everybody to fall together so that they can be pestered by these missiles here. Wave just kind of holding this position, and the splash is making an effort to try to force them out with the burst bombs. Wave having to fall back here, but they're still contesting mid, still just kind of waiting for the right moment to push. Sadly, the ends up on the set Pure Divinity's going to go down, Zap might be trying to make an effort to push in. They're just trying to get some plans at the moment. They're starting to get into an advantage most plan. They have armor to help push right now, but Pain getting a very nice kill right now from Pure Divinity, and it's 3 down. They can definitely start pushing now. All that's left is the CDF, I believe, and indeed, Wave's getting that ball in. Very nice. They could definitely shred right through that penalty.
They certainly do, and they get another 10 points on the board. But, it's not going to be enough to get them the KO, but it at least makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. And we're seeing the same thing again that we saw after Pure Divinity's first push. As soon as they finish that push, 8 mode 420 immediately has tons of paint on the map. They're in a good position to make this comeback still. They have 1 minute left. They have 2 power clams. They very well may be able to do this. Look, we have armor on deck. Looks like they have 10 missiles coming out from that bamboo to try to clear the way. Armor coming out, clearing the way, getting them a little more ability to play aggressively. And there it is. 2 power clams going in. And more clams going in. The push down to 8 points. 2 points. They might get this knockout, but unfortunately, all the members of 8 mode 420 going down. But for the first time in this game, they have the lead.
Definitely. That was kind of a delayed wipe on the side of 8 mode here, but we see Pure Divinity's already coming out guns blazing. They have the armor online, they have mid control, they're getting plans. Sadly, Kelp's going to go down on the splash, but this is a good spot to be in. They just have to not rush in mindlessly, basically, and they might be able to take this lead here. 20 is not a very small penalty. Granted, you're going to have a lot of plans if you want to push, but I could see them taking the stack here if they're smart. Indeed, with the armor and inset combo, Mary able to get in. Are they going to be able to score? Yes, and it's 2 members down on the side of 8 mode. They can take this. That's a wipe. That's going to be game.
Wow. Wow. After that fantastic push to take the lead from 8 mode 420, Pure Divinity coming back saying we are not out of this yet. Able to make another push of their own. Just at the last second taking that victory. What a fantastic game. I mean, both of those teams just playing out of their minds there. Those are the kind of games that you love to see, where really, truly, until the very, very last moments, you honestly don't know who's going to win because both teams are playing such a good game.
Absolutely. I would really love to know what Pure Divinity's voice chat is thinking right now, personally. But if the last game was not a case of having kind of a fire lit in them, this definitely was. Although I do have to say, the fact that we're going into tower control right now is not super promising, considering what we saw from them on the tower control Sturgeon game. Although that could have potentially been a case of them realizing, hey, this isn't the map, so they just stopped playing and kind of let them KO super fast. But who knows? The point is, I don't really know how well Pure Divinity is going to be able to handle tower control here. Although, if they have Wave on the splatter scope to just kind of hold things down, as well as aggression coming from Kelp, Pain, and Mary on the support, they could maybe do well here. It's just a matter of getting the picks that they need.
Yeah. We will see. I mean, we've seen both of these teams able to do so well in team fights, able to clutch out things so well. You look right now and you see it's 2-1 on the side of Pure Divinity, but we can't forget, that third game didn't count, but it was a prime example of just how dominant 8 mode can be when they're playing on their game, when they're playing on a map mode that they feel comfortable with, when they're able to get a small lead, they are able to extend it so much. Now we are going into tower control. And tower control was that mode that didn't count, that 8 mode was able to get that knockout in less than a minute. This might be a mode that they're very comfortable with. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something really fantastic come out from them here.
Absolutely. We're not really seeing much of a change-up in terms of comps from either team, either side, I mean. We do see the Charger from 8 mode going back to C-Jet, which is an understandable choice, having 180p Ray to work with. We do see one of the members of Pure Divinity going down already. Mary forced to jump back alongside the Stingray. Probably a bit early considering no one's pushing yet, but 8 mode already making an effort to get some points from the board. And they do have the Suction Bomb Rush coming online. That's going to be good for getting a lot of pressure into their flat right now. As you see, the Splash is just kind of waiting for any drops to happen. Wave is currently down on the side of Pure Divinity, but they're going to be building that raid as quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, look at this 8 mode doing such a good job of getting all the picks that they need, pushing forward. We have Rays on deck for both teams right now. Both teams going 2 down, 8 mode going 3 down. It looks like the push is going to be stopped at 40. That last member of 8 mode there, that Neo Splash-O-Matic, doing a good job of pulling away when the time is right, not trying to push that lead too much, and kind of trying to just keep map control so that Pure Divinity can't come back and make a big counter push.
Absolutely. 40 is a pretty good lead on this map, but are we going to just pretend that we didn't see the past 2 games? Like, they can take this. Mm-hmm. But sadly, Pain, the jump back being cut short by a bomb, and 2 down on the side of Pure Divinity here, as Mary's just kind of forced to retreat from this 1v2 type situation. 8 mode 420 has already taken up residence in the street and port area, and I believe that's a delayed wipe, but Wave is kind of in a position where he's going to have to get a lot of picks on these guys right now. Pentamissile's forcing him to move out. And 8 Mode also has the Stingray online, I want to point out. As, although Kelp getting a nice double there on tower to basically nip that push right in the bud. So if they're able to just get back online quickly and get Paint in mid here, they can just get a lot of damage. I just don't really see them pushing up that much, frankly. So once they are able to start doing that, like winning the fight in mid, they can definitely get some points on the board. They do get the kill on the TDS, and they're using the Pentamissiles to kind of cut that Ray short if possible. It seems like they are making that attempt to really push up this time.
Yeah, for the first time this game, Pure Divinity has points on the board. It's not a lot of points, but it is points. You know, that being said, 40 isn't a gigantic push from 8 Mode. It's a push, but it's not game changing. It's not game deciding. We'd have 2 specials on the board for 8 Mode though, and they do have control of the tower. And Pure Divinity is kind of on their back foot right now. This could be the perfect opportunity for 8 Mode to actually put a good push on the board here. We will see going 2 down, but Pure Divinity also is 1 down. That Stingray coming out, and unfortunately unable to do very much for them. We see 8 Mode, I mean, they're generally in control of this game. They've had the lead the whole game. They're playing well, but they're not actually making a particularly large push. But then again, you don't have to make a gigantic push in tower control as long as you can prevent your opponents from making a decent one. The push down to 40 is good enough if Pure Divinity isn't able to get past that incredible defense that 8 Mode has been able to put up.
Absolutely. 8 Mode's defense is just impenetrable right now. Although, surely Pure Divinity has kind of a sense of just lulling them into a sense of complacency or something. I don't quite know. But we do see it's a 3v3 situation, and once more 2 down on the side of 8 Mode as the Stingray comes out. It looks like Pure Divinity is trying to make a push again, and they do have the Stingray coming out from Wave right now, and indeed, it comes out, and it doesn't really seem that Kelp might be the one you want to have riding tower, because he was a good source of aggression right now, but they're getting close to that lead right now. If Kelp is able to just stay alive,
very close.
That's 2 down on the side. And Pain, able to stay on tower. That's a wipe for Pure Divinity, but getting that 1 pick was instrumental. Just able to get the lead by 3 points with 10 seconds left. You see what I mean here, where no lead is too much for Pure Divinity.
No, you're absolutely right. That was fantastic. I mean, when it really looked like that push was over when Kelp went down there, being able to get another member to stand on that tower for just that couple of seconds, get that pick, get that lead, even if it's just a small lead. We haven't seen 8 Mode able to make a big push past 40 yet. So there it is. In overtime, Pure Divinity takes the tower back and is going to take that game. That's going to be a 3-1 set for Pure Divinity, and what a fantastic performance it was.
Absolutely. That was an incredible capitalization of the way that they were able to turn around the Wahoo Zones game. They just saw the opportunity, like they know that we can take games off of these guys, just go for it, I guess, as it were. So
yeah,
that was an incredible set to have on stream.
Absolutely. I mean, and I will say 8 Mode playing a fantastic game, number of games themselves, holding the lead for at least some point in time in every single one of those games. So those are the kinds of sets that you really love to see, and that's just round 1 of Top Cut. But that's going to be the end of our commentary. However, we do have 3 more rounds of Top Cut coming up, and if the first one was that exciting, just imagine how good it's going to get by the time we get to Grands.
Absolutely. I don't really know what to expect from the further sets, but surely they'll just be quite as good as this one. So, but indeed, that is the end of the line for our commentary block here. So, Adam, why don't you plug yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at @critsuccess_. You can find me at a lot of IPL events doing commentary. And how about you, Riley?
You can find me on Twitter at @BuffSplashdown. I don't really do a whole lot aside from just play the game and commentate, but I'm funny like once a week. You can check me out or something if you're into that kind of thing.
That's more than enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Check me out. I'm funny sometimes. That's basic. I basically say the exact same thing every time I have to plug myself. But yes.
Rad. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And do not go anywhere. We have a lot more exciting action coming up here on IPL Swim or Sink 26.
Definitely. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope you enjoy the matches to come. Take care, everybody.
Welcome back to SOS 26. I am Kraken Mayor, joined by Alias. How you doing, Alias?
Tired. Outside of that, I'm doing pretty good.
Woo! All right, guys and gals, squids and octolings. We're gonna be going into our next set here in just a moment. Nawal, I think, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Because I know it's
that
not
was
Narwhal.
how we were told to say it. Nawal.
Nawal Gaming versus Universal here, and we will be having that in just a moment. This is our semi-finals match. So we're just 2 sets away from being able to crown a winner of SOS 26 here in just a moment. And now we just have to wait just a little bit here for both these teams to ready up and go on to the match. I think our next map... well, before we do that, let's go ahead and go over the teams here. Do you know any of these teams here, Alias?
Nope. I'm sorry.
No, well,
I'm not going to be much up there.
We're actually heading this a little bit quicker than I thought here. Thought we had a little more time here, but we're going to go into it on Skipper, Willy, and Splat Zones. What do you think the key position here on this one is, Alias?
I really just think it's going to be managing, like, either coming down from the top or coming in from the sides as far as where exactly they're going to be taking control of the zone. Just finding a good way to set yourself up to defend the zone from all angles. And it looks like that's what Universal is going to start trying to do as they push in first. Don't quite capture the zone, though, as Nawal's actually going to take the zone first. Still a big fight in the center, but 2 do go down on the side of Universal, and Nawal presented with a nice opening to start off the game.
Yes, they definitely started off very well here, and they got multiple down, and they managed to get another one down. That squeezer does go down as they are popping bubbles. Chomper and their teammate doing quite a lot so far, and they have, look at the map control they have. You know, this, I love this top-down view for showing the map control. We see 3 members of Universal going to try to come in together, but that rain combined with bombs are just absolutely decimating them one at a time here. And it looks like with this bomb rush, they might have a chance to, at minimum, neutralize it here. And yes, they are going to be able to do that here, Alias.
Yeah, Bishop forcing the retake with a nice splashdown, but then will immediately go down to another splashdown and bomb combination, and Nawal just takes it right back. Universal only keeping the zone for 2 ticks, as Nawal is now just trying to farm specials, present themselves with another opportunity to just defend. We do see the ball point go down, so Universal could try and push in here. Chomper going to go down on the turn. They will get Ink Armor off in time, though. But, Nawal Gaming does lose control of the zone for now.
Yeah, you are right. They lost control of it here, and it's finally an opportunity for Universal to paint up here. You can see them having all of this map finally in their favor. You know, unlike last time, they only kept it for a little while and then started losing the paint to Nawal here. And that's huge. You know, having control of paint is so important. I think it's something that some teams just underrate. And Universal right now has complete control, and you just are not allowing the enemy team in. And it looks like they're going to have a chance here to get this lead. Yes, I was just going to declare now they got the lead here in this one. If I got burned in that little bit of time, I would have been very surprised here. Oh, the bubble's coming out, but it's not going to be enough. They have 1 member going down, 2 members coming down. Oh, maybe not. Bishop just survives. But still, Universal finally gets pushed out here.
Yeah, Bishop finally gets the pick and will immediately go down to Liam in return as Nawal does recap the zone. Full wipe on the side of Universal, so Nawal gets a chance to work through this last little bit of penalty points, try and just hold on while they can, especially if they can get that ball point set up. But as I say that, the ball point's actually going to go down. Universal with all 4 members back on the board trying to push up. Liam just stalling, presumably waiting to use the Booyah Bomb or get a cheeky pick. Nawal will lose control of the zone, however. Booyah Bomb does come out, but it's a bit too late. As Liam is sort of forced into this awkward position, they will get a splat with the bomb, however, as they are going to... I thought they were going to take back control of the zone, but the splashdown coming out from Bishop will lead to Universal recapping once more. And Nawal finally getting control of the zone.
For how long, though, is the question. If that splashdown does go down, so this will be an opportunity for Universal to have multiple members up, and you can see them rushing the zone, knowing that they have that man advantage. Good job there by Universal, noticing the situation and taking advantage of it quite quickly, for that matter. And now they can finally eat up that over 40-point penalty that they have to deal with. It's going to take them through probably about 30 seconds to 30 seconds left here if they want to get the KO. But yeah, Bomb Rush coming out and more, trying to hold this zone.
Yeah, I'm really liking the use of the point sensor right now from Universal, as we do get an unfortunate disconnect. Not really sure what happened there. Don't know if it lost connection to the room entirely or if there is just one player. So we're gonna have to wait for confirmation on what exactly happened. Hopefully, the players are still able to continue the round as normal, and it's just an issue on our end. But we'll have to wait and see.
Of course, we always hope that. That makes our life a lot easier. I'm going to go double check that right now, so I'll be able to get the word a little bit quicker. Give me just a moment. But yeah, what do you like so far from both of these teams here, Alias? What do you like how they're playing so far?
I've really appreciated Nawal's tenacity. It seems like they're never fully out of a fight. Like a lot of times they're able to, at the very least, trade out of situations as opposed to just going down. And on the side of Universal, I've really liked how well they've been controlling the map. Like I said just before the disconnect, I've really liked the use of the point sensor. I think that it was doing a great job, especially on Skipper, of letting Universal know from which direction Nawal was coming from. And then just their general ability to keep control of the map for as long as possible. Whereas Nawal at times sort of struggled to fight their way back into mid.
All right, we just got confirmation that Nawal here actually won that game. So they won the Skipper Pavilion Zones match, which means we'll be going to Clamblitz Piranha Pit for our next one, with Universal down 0-1. Not a surprising turn of events here, Alias.
Yeah. So if you'll excuse a slight delay, we're trying to get back in the room as we're about to go into Clamblitz on Piranha Pit. And this is another map mode combination that I could see both of these teams doing really well in. What with Universal's sort of ability to establish control over the map, Piranha Pit definitely a map where you want to have control for as long as possible. If that's not just every map though. And Nawal showing that they're able to fight their way back in, even if Universal has good control of the map, as evidenced by their Game 1 win on Skipper Pavilion. I could see this also taking a while, or I could see it just being a really quick game from either of the teams.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too quick of one. I think this is a set where both teams are going back and forth quite a lot. We saw that a lot in the first game, where Nawal would have it for a while, and then Universal would have it for a while, and both held it for short amount of time and long amount of time. So I think both of them are going to be able to score in good bursts, so maybe a couple quick scores and some long ones. But I'd be very surprised if this match does not go at least 4 minutes long, at least towards the end. Clamblitz is already hard enough to score on at times. And when you have two evenly matched teams, it's pretty difficult usually for one or the other to get the KO. And
that is very true.
On top of that, the comps that both are running put down a good amount of paint, and it allows them both to get back in a reasonable amount of time, especially if they can get themselves a slight man advantage. Yeah, I think that's kind of my take on what I think will happen in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that it's more likely to go like a while as opposed to just being relatively quick. I think the only way that we see something relatively quick is if one of the teams gets an early wipe and then is very, very good at locking the other team out of their own basket area, which is kind of hard to do on Piranha Pit, but it's not the hardest map to do it on.
You're right. It's not the hardest by any means, but it's still quite difficult to fully lock out for an extended period of time. I think it's actually probably a little bit easier than something like Zones, because where you drop off here in Clamblitz, you have a nice amount of area you can drop off, and it's pretty hard and you kind of funnel the team that's trying to score into one area that you can actually get behind and drop out of spawn to. So it's a little more difficult than zones, where zones you can kind of spread out in the zones are kind of in the middle, and you can kind of funnel them to one direction and take care of them. And early on, though, it's pretty even. 2 down on each side. Matt able to take 1 down. A couple of their friends going down. It's just pretty even so far. But the big thing is, one team is already scoring in about 30 seconds of this game, but they are not able to follow it up. So just a 20-point push, and it is basically a free pity clam for Universal.
Yeah, as 2 more go down on the side of Nawal Gaming, I do like the just being able to put points on the board, especially since the Kansas Slashing Machine was able to hop out immediately after. Bishop going to go ahead and trade with another player after the Remix finds a good pick on defense, as Nawal Gaming just looks to set up their own defense. Bubbles coming out, but I don't know if they're going to do much. Universal not really in a good position to use them, but they're slowly just becoming more of a menacing target as they grow closer to the basket. 2 down on Nawal as the Kansas Slashing Machine respawns, but just like that, Universal also losing a couple players, and Nawal's presented with another opportunity right back.
Good opportunity here, and they have themselves a power clam and some extras that could fall up here. We have 24 clams total. The Inkjet combining with another team member, able to get 1, but that one team member also goes down here. So huge 1-for-1. We talked about how close these teams are. They consistently are going about 1-for-1, and it's so far just taken a surprise clam make to get anybody on the board through the first 2 minutes, but that opportunity might change with just 1 member alive. The Squeezer, though, smartly saving those bubbles and able to hold back the push for a little bit longer.
That was just a really smart usage of the special, but at that point, it was... You hate having to use a special like that just to prevent a push from happening. Like, when you're the only player left and there's not really a suitable way to counterplay that. But even so, the push will go through in the end. Nawal finding a power clam dunk as well as a pick that will allow for another power clam dunk. Nawal already down to 29 points, and it looks like they might be trying to keep it going. No clams in sight though, as they're trying to find a way to keep this basket open, but will not in the end. So Nawal still with 29 points left, but not... Universal's just not in the best position to counterattack, and Nawal looks like they might be trying to just finish this right here.
The big thing also in that is Universal accidentally grabbed their power clam they got originally. So as much as they were smart enough to grab it, they actually lost that one, which, I guess isn't the worst thing in the world since they get another one right back. But obviously it would be preferred if they could kept that one alive. And so now they see nothing from those first 20 points, and it was a free 20 points effectively for Nawal. Excuse me again, I'm going to keep saying Narwhal because I'm used to saying that word compared to Nawal. And now here comes a score from Nawal, speaking of them again, and it looks like big points on the board. They have enough to KO, and they will KO, and this set is 2-0.
Yeah, Nawal just doing a good job of keeping Universal from really establishing the resources they needed. They started running out of room under their own basket, and at that point, Nawal was just able to sort of swarm the basket, keep 2 or 3 players near it at all times, and at the very end, they had enough players there to where they could just KO with Universal not really in a good position to defend.
You are right, and wow, that game did last quite a while. I don't think it was quite 4 minutes. I think it was just a little bit under 4 minutes, but surprisingly, it was not as back and forth as I thought it would be compared to that first game. Universal just had their backs against the wall after the first, after about the halfway point. They really got themselves pushed back in a position they could never get themselves out of. In the first part of the game, it was quite back and forth as I kind of expected it to be. But instead of looking at the past, we're going to be looking at the future. Looking at the potentially last game of this set. Tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard. Alias, what do you think is the key points on this map?
It's definitely going to be within those first couple of checkpoints. Just Sturgeon is it's a weird map for tower control just because it's really easy to get above the tower using the various platforms and whatnot. So being able to get through those first couple of checkpoints when you're under fire is something that's definitely going to help either team here, as Nawal tries to finish the setup entirely, and Universal looking to maybe start a reverse sweep here. We actually accidentally did see this map last round when the two teams went Surgeon Shipyard around early, and it seemed like whichever team was able to just get the advantage early on and just push as fast as they could seemed to do better. So let's see if either of the two teams here managed to do that right now.
You know, something I forgot to mention, I believe in the first game, G Friend, I think is what it is that's Whoomp. So somebody that may be familiar with Universal, you may be looking for Whoomp. Whoomp is here. He's just under a different name tonight. So anybody familiar with Universal, we've seen Universal many times on IPL streams. You know, they come into a lot of our events. We're very thankful for them, and I want to shout out those players like Whoomp that come out all the time. So under a different name tonight, just throwing us all off. And that first checkpoint is about halfway complete for Nawal already. I think they should try to hop on and just hold on to it, and they do get it. Chopper just gets it there, and I think that's huge in the first minute, setting the tone that you're going to get that first checkpoint in your first attempt at pushing.
Yeah, it looked like they had a chance to actually push through it earlier, but the sloshing machine for Nawal was tied up in another 1v1 and couldn't quite get it. I completely forgot that this was a map that only has 2 checkpoints. For whatever reason, I assumed that there was a third. But Nawal already getting through the first of only 2 checkpoints is definitely going to be big for them, as they already pushed it to 29. Reaching the second checkpoint, not taking it, but starting to force Universal back even further, as there is a pick on Erede, as Whoop does find a pick, but Nawal starting to just gain a man advantage even more. The Universal players will respawn, like, they'll be able to get back from the respawns quicker just because of the proximity of the tower to their base. But that's not something you want to see, as Nawal trying to end it right now. It looks like they will be able to, and the tower stopping at 1 point, but Nawal hopping right back on it, getting a little bit of squid bag action at the end, and they will be advancing to grand finals, taking it 3-0 over Universal.
I don't think that was too much squid bag, because I saw there it was just at the edge of the tower, a little bit of edge correction there. So I don't want to make Chopper look bad there. It was just of being at the edge of tower at the end of the game. So I can't squid bag when the you can't squid bag when the game's already over.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah,
So
I'm tired. I should have gotten Mountain Dew like you said. Just ignore that.
that's all right here.
Yeah.
You know,
But definitely don't ignore Nawal taking the set 3-0 and just looking very strong throughout.
you're definitely right on that. You know, and it's quite an exciting set there. And you know, after the first game, I thought it was gonna be a lot closer set. And then we just had Nawal in the last 2 just really turn on the burn, especially in the middle of the second game. Just turn on the burners, figure out Universal, and just beat them in every aspect of that game. And wow, what an exciting set.
Yeah,
Well, anyway,
that was a very exciting set to watch. Sorry.
we're definitely right on that one. Anyways, gonna be looking forward to our next set. Oh, we just got word here of our next set. We're gonna have Krakens versus Nawal here for our grand finals of SOS 26. But before we go into that one, we're gonna take just a short break. So stay with us here at
Try and get
IPL
caffeinated
Splatoon.
more.